Hello, good morning. We're doing a morning stream because I don't know, I have like a haul. I have a haul and I figured the early bird gets the worm sometimes. So let's be the early bird today. Um right off the bat though, I have already had a massive fail this morning. So this weekend, I got a Slack from my bosses, and they've been watching my live, which is crazy if I'm being honest, because, like, what do you mean it's Saturday and you are watching one of your employees talk to herself on YouTube? Sorry, I'm, like, fidgeting with my pop socket. I'll stop. Like, what do you mean? I'm so eternally grateful, though, and I do hope it was entertaining. But in that stream, or in that message feedback too, I learned that my audio is only coming in through one ear, and it's only on some streams. And so I assume it's when I'm using OBS, which is like the streaming software I use. Sometimes I'll just go in and I'll be crazy and I'll just do it straight out of Google Chrome, YouTube, and I just hop on. But sometimes I get fancy. And it was actually really good because in his message, he I just knew immediately. He was like, it's only on some of the streams, and it was the one where I was like screen sharing. So it was pretty easy to nail down the problem. So I switched audio to mono, because then ideally it's going to come through both ears and you're just going to hear me loud and proud in both ears. But this morning, spoiler alert, I already hopped on stream and then hopped back off and deleted it because I was just like not, my brain cell was not operating at full capacity. So here I am back again, but I didn't think to, like, before deleting the stream, I did not check the audio, which I should have. So with that, I don't want to leave you hanging. I know I teased with a haul, so let's just get into it. Got some Target bag ASMR, and let's get going. I went to Target 3 times last week. Wait, I was gonna say 3 times this weekend, and then I realized it was probably only 2 this weekend. And then I was like, well, that's not impressive. And so then I was like, well, I did go one other time last week. So then once I made it a weekly thing, and I was like 3 times last week, I kind of think it may have been more than 3 times last week. But this is certainly not my full Target haul. This is just the stuff that I brought into work. So for starters, I got gum. I don't really chew gum like that, but every so often I become like so aware of my mouth. Does that make sense? Does anyone else have that? Like, as a sensory thing, I become so aware of the fact that I have a mouth and that my mouth has just been at work all day sipping on water and coffee. And like, so sometimes I need gum. So I got gum because I ran out last week, and then I've just been kind of struggling since. Except you can actually probably clock me on it because I think I was chewing gum on Thursday. So really I only had to struggle through one day. So maybe I am more of a gum chewer than I'm saying that I am, because if I only made it one day, then that's kind of dumb and annoying. And then this is like the real reason that I'm involving y'all in my Target haul is I got little wax melts. And maybe this is because I was raised in the age of everyone being overzealous about peanut allergies. By the way, I have one. But I'm always worried when I like bring something to a public space, like, for example, the office. Granted, there's like maximum 3 people here, like ever, it feels like. That's actually, I didn't count myself. That was not someone being left behind. That was me not counting myself. 4 is probably generally the operating capacity that we operate at most generally. There will be random days where there's like 8 people, and it's always funny because those 8 people will come up and like other people will be missing, and then someone will walk by and be like, man, it's really empty. And I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean it's a full house today, buddy? Like, just because it's like everyone else on one of those random days where there's like 8 people here, everyone else will be like at lunch or like downstairs or in the bathroom because we have another office suite downstairs. And someone will be like, crazy, it's a quiet day. And I'm like, the fact that you're saying anything at all means it's not. Because normally all of the trees are falling in the forest and no one is around to hear them. But we're here. That's another reason. It's sort of fun to do a morning stream. There have been plenty of mornings where there have been a lot of days at work where like the barista is my human interaction for the day. And that is part of why I have a coffee addiction. Because it's just like, it is for sure my human interaction for the day, which is kind of really sad because I became friends with all the baristas at the coffee shop I would go to. And then I went to Canada, and Canada really ruined everything, if I'm being honest, because I did get home from Canada and my vacation of the year, me going on a trip for the year. And, do I want to say this? I got dumped on FaceTime 3 days later. Nothing but love. No tea or shade to that person. We had been together for 2.5 years. I am so okay though. Everything is fine. It's been a while since then. So I've had time to like become a person again. But yeah, kind of really all roads lead back to Canada. Why was I mentioning Canada in this instance? Because I came back from Canada, and in Canada I discovered I like oat milk and mocha in my coffee. And so I changed what coffee shop I go to, and I started getting oat milk and mocha. And then I stopped drinking coffee because I like did a caffeine cleanse. Like I said, no. My nervous system cannot do caffeine for a bit. So I did not do caffeine for probably a month or 2. But that was kind of crazy because then that was like my human interaction for the day. So there were times that I would go and get coffee and then just kind of like have a couple sips and then kind of not drink the rest, which is like an expensive habit, but sort of, it's like joining Greek life in college, I guess. Like it was like a human interaction subscription, and it was well worth it. So anywho, that was a crazy detour. I got vanilla pumpkin and warm cider and cinnamon, and I got them for this is a big reveal for Elmo. That's right. I have a little wax melt plug-in. And you must be wondering, why are you saying that like it's a big deal? Well, it is a big deal because one time early on in my tenure at this company, we had just ordered production equipment, and we like got backdrops, and they they came in the mail. So they were folded and they looked haggard. They looked absolutely horrific. And so I was like, okay, I don't know a lot of things. Because I was like fresh out of college, hired on, doing my thing. I don't know a lot of things, but I know these are rain cold, right? So I brought, and we have since gotten a new iron, actually. I brought the worst, most god-awful iron from home that we have. And it is peeling, which is totally beside the point. As far as my boss knew, it's an iron and it's fine and it's beautiful and it's perfect, right? Wrong. I work with software engineers, and so I brought this iron in. I have all of the backdrops down, and mind you, again, I just set up the whole thing. I'm here alone a lot. Unless you're a scary stalker murderer, in which case I have a lot of employees. They're all bodybuilders. They're here at all times, and we're in Texas, so they're packing. But I'm here when they're stepping out and they're not here. I'm here alone a lot. So this, for starters, was out of the total blue. But I am bringing the backdrops down and into my office, and my boss walks past and is like, huh, what's going on? Just kind of engages with me. So I'm like, oh, I brought an iron in and I'm going to iron these backdrops. Thought that was going to be the end of it. Wrong. He wanted to know, I don't even know. I don't know if it was the voltage or the wattage, how many watts or what. I don't know if how many watts something is the voltage. That's how much I know, right? But he was very concerned with the amount of power, passing through the cord on the iron, right? Why? I don't know. And I do want y'all to know there's a soldering iron in this lab that I was walking through with this iron. There's a Keurig. There is the world's stinkiest mini fridge that I finally did throw away. There was a carton of milk in that mini fridge when I hired on. I didn't touch it because I was worried about touching someone's stuff. But about a year later, I finally decided to throw it away. There were little little bits of white in the sink here for a bit because before throwing the milk away, it was so old that the date had rubbed off. So I had no way to check and make sure it was the same thing of milk. And again, I didn't want to touch and throw away someone else's stuff. And then finally I was like, you know what? At my big age, I can buy someone another carton of milk if we beef. And also, who is around to beef, right? So I threw away the carton of milk. But I tested it before. And so when I tested it, I did my absolute best to rinse everything down the drain that I tested. And I didn't test a lot, right? I just poured a little bit. But a little bit of I don't know, what do you call it? Congealed milk, milk curdle, liquid asbestos, sat in the sink. And I tried my hardest to rinse it down, and I even touched it. I even tried to coax it, and for whatever reason that one little bit wouldn't go. It's gone now, but it was kind of camping out there for a little bit. It was not a lot. I'm not an animal, but yeah. So all of that to say, anywho, so I finally found the voltage on the iron and was able to report it back to my boss, and he was like, okay, that's fine. And I ironed the backdrops, and then that was sort of the end of it. But for a bit there, I was like, this is crazy. It was such a moment of okay, not only do y'all not like talking, no one is around enough to like chit chat, and like my chit chat meter is like crashing every day. When we are chit chatting, we're having discussions about like autonomy and how I can be building a workflow to accomplish things autonomously, which is totally chill, totally good. But if you work in production, absolutely you can wear multiple hats and be a jack of all trades and get a lot done all by yourself. Sometimes, I don't know, like the person holding the boom mic can't also be in front of the camera and also operating the camera, right? Which wasn't what was necessarily needing to happen at the time, but autonomy can only get you so far in production. But if you are a brilliant genius who knows how to code, then you can code in silence all alone, and you don't ever have to talk to anyone, and you can make wonderful, beautiful things and never have to talk to anyone. And then you can go drink from your carton of milk that you visit once a year in your stinky mini fridge, and everything is fine. That is like absolutely quality of life. And I think that is beautiful. I have had to figure out how to make that work for me. And this is one of the ways I make that work. I have this lovely, and if you're listening, George, it is 120 volts, 60 hertz. If that means anything to you. It is a wax melt warmer. It plugs right into the wall, and I am 90% sure nothing's wrong with it because I've been using it for a year with no one knowing. This part is where things get difficult because I have to melt this to get rid of it so I can put a new scent in, which is annoying because now I'm going to fill the air with this smell when I'm ready to commit to a new one. But I've got warm cider and cinnamon and vanilla pumpkin. And I'm really excited about these because I grew up with a mom with bad chronic migraines. And so she wouldn't ever let us use fragrances. She's come around a little bit, but because they give her migraines. So any sort of candle scent thing ever feels magical and wonderful to me still. So that's my Target haul. I guess I'm going to get this heating up so that I can get rid of this fragrance. Cool. Let's get into it because I got a Slack while I've been on live. Oh, slay. Okay. It's a good, while I am not at liberty to disclose the subject matter of the Slack, it's good information, and I do need to respond to it later, but it's not time sensitive. So, that being said though, I got an email, and this is all new to me too, is getting junk email on my work account. So I got an email from Bank of America that says, Riley, watch out for these 3 scams. What's interesting about this email from Bank of America warning me about watching out for scams is I do not, nor have I ever, banked with Bank of America. So it's giving scam, right? Anywho, this all started with me saying I was going to explain why I'm late. There's a lot of reasons, really. For starters, I'm like going to see, it looks like I have a chat, so I'm going to go find the chat and respond to it. It's really sad that I have to hunt it down. I don't understand why OBS doesn't have it locally, but I am going to hunt it down. Hey, I'm like getting lied to. Why am I getting lied to? I want you to know your chat is important to me. I'd love to see it, but I cannot. You were silenced. Were you silent or were you silenced? You were silenced, and I'm sorry. But okay. So I have been like rolling up to work pretty late. Like not late because I don't have meetings, so it's not like I'm late for the meetings, but in terms of like company operating hours, the 4 people that are here, there's like a general time where people show up, and like I try to be middle of the pack. I try to be normal about it, right? But I've been like living, which I hadn't been doing for a while, but I have been living. And so, hold on. Okay. I've been living, and so that means I get home at like 1 a.m. sometimes, and then setting an alarm for 7 is like not crazy, but it's not ideal. 'Cause it's like, that's a whole thing. And I'm kind of neurotic about how much sleep I get. And like when I go to sleep, okay, actually, let me tell you about the whole process. So I listen to rain sounds while I fall asleep. And then I think I've explained this on live before. I listen to rain sounds, and then so I don't freak out. This was like actually a learning curve too, though. Like acclimating to having like a grown adult job and not being able to like kind of wake up whenever, throw on like shorts and a t-shirt and like go to lecture. Having to like get up, get like ready for the day, like put on a shirt with a collar, like do makeup, like that whole vibe. That was like kind of a learning curve. And then not a learning curve, but like you have to adjust to things in life. But so then I would get really overwhelmed and worried about not getting enough sleep. And I started having like stress dreams about not getting enough sleep, which is really meta, ironic, and pointless. But so I listen to rain sounds to fall asleep. And then an hour before I have to get up, they turn off, they fade out. So that way, if I wake up in the middle of the night, any time before having a whole extra hour of sleep, and I hear that my rain sounds are on, I don't get stressed out about falling back asleep because I know I at least have an hour left. And that's my truth, and I'll speak it. But so, on the nights that like I like will go and watch football, or I go to my friend's volleyball game or whatever, and then we'll like hang out afterwards, watch documentaries, whatever, do normal people things. Yeah. Well, then I get home late because we've been watching Love is Blind, and I will be like, okay, it's like midnight 30, and I'm like, okay, I literally like I can only let myself watch half of this episode, and then some crazy stuff goes down on the honeymoons, and I like watch the whole episode, and then I'm like getting home at like 1:30, and I'm like having to shower, get ready for bed, and like set my alarms. And let me tell you, those 20 minutes aren't worth a lot, but the difference between setting an alarm for 7 and 7:20, it feels like it goes a long way, and then it does go a long way when it comes to getting to work on time. So I have been getting to work at like 9 instead of 8:30, and it's been fine. I've been making up the difference, whatever. But that's what's been happening. So this morning I was like, I am going to get there at a normal time. I'm going to get there at a normal time. So I set my alarm like 20 minutes earlier than normal, and like was going to be normal about it. Well, then part of everything too is like, I don't know, I've just been getting a different kind of ready in the mornings for work because we've been live streaming and because we've been making content. And so there's like a different version of me that I would like to be like a different level of readiness that I would prefer to be for content creation than like if I'm just coming into work, not interacting with any coworkers, and then like getting work done, right? So also it's like fun. Me and the girlies chat. Me and the girlies being like me and my friends. We are always sharing like our makeup routine stuff, our like life stuff, and we get on Marco Polo and we'll like do updates. Well, so one of my best friends just changed up her makeup routine, and she is using like a new fun miracle product that she's singing the praises of, and I'm like all for it, right? My journey, my hill I die on is that like no matter what, I feel like my foundation either leans pink or orange. There is no like, okay, this is just your skin color and you look normal. For whatever reason, like that is my journey, and it's been killing me. So when she came to me and was like, this is a miracle product, it does not feel like you're wearing anything, it like feels super lightweight, and it's one of those like skincare makeup products, right? So then it's like, okay, it's good for your skin, and so then it's like, well, then maybe in the future I can wear less makeup, and so then slowly my routine's getting less and less and less, and I can get to work sooner and sooner and sooner. Like that's perfect, right? Wrong. So I ordered it and it was like gonna come overnight, right? So this morning I'm like getting ready for the day, doing my hair, and I'm like seeing in my Amazon app, oh my gosh, like I'm the next stop. Like I can just slow down my routine a little bit, and my Tiger Grass color correction cream will be here in like 10 minutes. So I kept about my business, and sure enough, it was delivered. So I rushed downstairs and I grab it, and I'm doing my makeup routine, and it looks so good for 5 seconds. It looks so good. I'm like, oh my God, she's right. I love it. And I'm still going to try it again. I think like the order I did things in was bad, which is another thing. Like, I don't know. I need y'all to understand that every person that wears makeup has done a whole puzzle all by themselves that day. Like, if you see someone and they have any sort of makeup on, like, they have done a puzzle, and you should congratulate them. Actually, maybe you shouldn't, but like, that is the reality of the situation. Like, we have fought battles that you don't even know about. So I like went about my makeup routine, kind of just tried to slip it in to the order of events that I would normally do. And it looked so good, so briefly. But I was there for a moment, like, I was like, oh my God, my face is orange or pink. It's not orange or pink. It looks normal. And then, like, I don't know if it's something about the pH of makeup or if it is just, like, my particular undertones or what. Once again, like, doing math and science here. Like, doing math and science. Again, can't tell you the voltage on my iron, but, like, I can tell you that maybe something is going on with the pH or, like, I don't know, my undertones that is making my makeup look weird. And also, like, anywho, there's a whole math and science thing going on with my makeup routine. But it looked bad. And makeup takes time. And then even more time does it take when you go, oh, this is bad, and then you wash your face. And then it's not just a casual wash your face. It's like a get unready with me video. It's like I'm having to put effort into getting all this makeup off of my face to then put it back on. So I did that. Went ahead and did that. Check that one off the to-do list, which is crazy because I had been waiting. Once again, I'd been waiting for it to be delivered. So then to wash it off, that took time. Yeah. So I did that. And then that was fine. I still was kind of getting ready at a reasonable time, finishing up with that makeup, getting ready to put clothes on and leave for work. And I'm like, looking through all my clothes, trying to figure out where the pants that I had planned on wearing were. And I remember that, they are still hanging up, soaking wet. So, not wearing those today, right? That's fine. I have other ones on standby. Not even a problem. Well, at that point, I learn and remember that there are workers coming to finish up construction that is being done on where I live. So, again, totally fine. Not even a problem for me. But it means that, like, in my running around frantic, getting all the final touches together to go to work, there is an audience. So that changes things, right? That changes things. So I keep up the good work, keep up the pace, and I finally have all my things together, and I am loading up my car, and there is a work vehicle at the end of my driveway. So I could not get out of that driveway even if I wanted. So I make contact with, luckily that kind of wasn't an issue. Like, we saw each other, me and a workman. And he was like, "Oh, you're trying to get out? Well, I can." And then kind of, I didn't really understand the vibe of, like, because we were, like, at this point kind of communicating, yelling down the driveway towards each other. And he was saying something like, "Oh, you need to get out. Like, you're needing to leave. I need to, like, pull through." And was, like, kind of explaining, I think, more logistics than I needed to know at that point. But I totally get that. That's what this whole live stream has been, right? So he was, like, explaining what he was going to do to me. Like, explaining what he needed to do. And I was like, okay, I just need to, like, back down the driveway and get out of here. So then I finally did that. And then, yeah, I guess that was it. But then it just takes time to get to work. But I guess all I'm really saying is, like, there were a lot of moving parts today. And that is why I still got into work at the normal time that I've been getting to work, when it's like, when I, like, actually put a lot of effort into being early today. So that's my explanation for myself. Yeah. Well, everyone's learned a lot about me today. I hope it's been fun. I guess, yeah, if ever you are feeling down, just know that you have kind of replaced the part of my day that is going to get coffee, except I do go get coffee again. But I used to be like, man, I don't hear my voice until I talk to the barista in the morning. I used to just be a tree falling in the forest with no one around to hear it. And now it happens on live stream. So I think there's something very beautiful and poetic about that. And I'm going to go about my business now and work. But